Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
What up, all you beautiful folks? It's Jamie here, back again another day with another bonus episode for your listening pleasure. If you haven't tuned in yet this week, I have been releasing a different bonus episode a day from our archived episodes. These are the guests that are going to be coming back for season 11 to help me with some of the intros for our new guests in season 11. So today's episode is a really, really fun one, and I'm really excited to share it. Let me tell you something about this human being whose interview is about to be heard by your ears for your listening pleasure. Romaine Patterson of the Derek and Romaine Show. Let me tell you about something about this human. This human has been my rock, honestly, throughout this entire year, through the transition of Robin leaving, through the transition of E coming on board, to the transition of E leaving, to this new rebranding at this point. Romaine has been there for me through all of it. And I cannot explain how grateful I am to this human being, just out of the goodness of her heart. And so I am super excited to share this episode with you. Romaine, here's another thing about Romaine. Romaine is one of the most honest, like in your face. I don't give a fuck what you think about what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it anyway. People I think I've ever met. And it's really refreshing. And I think that's why her show and her podcast and her radio show is so freaking. I mean, the woman's got a freaking empire. She's got so many shows with Derek. And she's made her partnership work this entire time. But it's one of the reasons why she's so successful. She says it like it is. She's got some interesting opinions, and you're going to hear some of them in this episode, especially regarding the donor she and her wife chose and how it all pans out. It's fun. It's a fun episode. We laughed a lot in this episode. And so I don't want to say much more about it, but just make sure that you are following this show on all the social media channels. We are the Queer Family Podcast across all social media channels, including YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Make sure you're following and keep checking in. And don't forget, you can always join Patreon. And disregard all of the times we say in this episode to go follow us at Ovaries Talk. It's not that anymore because we've rebranded. Okay. All right. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. I love y'all. I hope you enjoy this episode. I'm going to have these two lovebirds over here, Helen and Beulah. And they're so nice to me now that I'm all alone creating all these intros by myself. They've been so nice, my made-up assistants. All right, Helen and Beulah, my lovelies. Go ahead and roll that tape. Roll it.
Love is love is love is love.
Oh my God, you guys.
Hi,
welcome to If These Ovaries Could Talk.
And I'm Jamie.
I'm Robin.
And we're your hosts.
And you know what? We have been, for the last 2 hours, almost 3 hours.
It doesn't even sound like that long when you put it in those terms.
3 hours is a very long time for Jamie and I to be working on the book together. And the fact that we're both sitting here and no one's dead is amazing.
I mean, we always are fine. We always get along. What are you talking?
I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. No,
but we've been working on
project.
our book. By the way, we're writing a book.
We're doing our homework.
We've been working on our book all morning.
Chapter 1, nailed.
Slaving away at this book for you people.
Ben, our publisher at Lit Riot Press, is like this. They did chapter 1. Like, he's super proud of us right now.
He doesn't know.
No, because we're not communicative with poor Ben. We got it, Ben.
He
we're
knows
doing
we're
it.
working. We're working. Oh, God.
Well, listen, I'm excited for today's episode.
Me too.
Before we get to our guest, I do have to say we have, shockingly enough, we have our first Tiffany and Carissa update already.
They're on it.
That's going to be at the end of the show.
When we set this up, I was like, they're never going to update us.
I know. I was like, we're launching a segment that's never going to happen.
This isn't going to happen, but they're really on it. They're actually updating us, and it's exciting.
And we have our first update that's going to happen at the end of the show.
Yeah, you guys have to at least, like even if you don't want to listen to the whole episode, like fast forward.
Are you going to tell me fast forward and stay for Tiffany? No. Okay, so if you're going to do that, leave it running so we get the streams. And then a half hour later, come back and listen to that section.
Oh, that's a fun way to do
that
it.
Way it looks like you listen.
Yeah, they're going to love that.
Critical.
Just listen to the whole
go rate and
episode.
review us.
I mean, we're going to stop talking eventually, and we're going to get our guest in.
Okay, so today, Romaine.
From the Derek and Romaine Show.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah. Remember, we were on, for those of you who don't who don't listen to Derek and Romaine show, you have to.
They're
fantastic.
they're so fun.
They have like an empire.
Yeah, they're a radio show, you know.
And they turn it into a podcast sometimes, but they beat us in the podcast awards, and we're bitter about that. I think we'll talk about that in the interview.
But they're a GLAAD award winning. Did you know this?
Yeah. Why do you have to talk about all their awards?
Well, I want to explain them.
We didn't
They're
win.
a GLAAD award-winning gay and lesbian duo.
All right. I think the content's going to get better if we invite Romaine in. Should we do that?
Let's just get her in here because she's fun.
She is.
Yeah. Well, hello there.
Oh my God. We have Romaine of Derek and Romaine fame.
She's famous.
I'm not famous.
And they have their
You
own, basically radio station podcast, their empire.
Yes, it's my empire. I'm building an empire. I'm inspired by Cookie from that show Empire.
Oh, who is
Just call me Cookie. I will not stop until I've built an empire.
I love this.
But we mostly know you
have it.
because last year you beat the crap out of us. You beat the pants off us in the People's Choice Podcast
I don't know if
Award.
we have to say beat the pants off.
I mean, did we win, Jamie?
We didn't win.
You
Did they
did
win?
win. We won.
But we did post our award speech after we lost.
We sure did. We
Yeah.
sure did.
Yeah, I actually think, and this is gonna sound sad, but I'm pretty certain that our award acceptance speech was almost word for word the exact same speech we did the year before, even though we didn't plan it that way. It just came out that way.
So I don't know if
because you have your whole rapport and
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
you talk with each other.
But Jamie, did you happen to notice that she not only beat the pants off us, but managed to just work in that they won 2 years in a row?
2 years in a row, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
tell us your elevator pitch about your family.
Yeah, who are you?
Here's how it started. I met my wife Iris. She was a listener who hated me but loved Derek. She thought I was
That's
obnoxious.
hilarious.
I'm not even joking.
Doesn't it always start off like
She
that?
came to an event to meet Derek. She told me I was obnoxious and that she wasn't there to meet me. Like literally, these are the words she said to me the first time we met. And so then I convinced her that I was amazing because that's
How'd you
kind
go
of-
about that?
Yeah, I want to know.
You know, I
Wait,
could
did you
be,
do like a listener
I know
call-in
you haven't
segment?
seen it yet, but I can be very charming when I want to be.
It's coming.
I
It's
see
coming.
it. I see it. See,
Yeah,
this is
so
the
I
love.
charmed her because she was hot, and she was in the military at the time, so we couldn't.
That is
so we
hot.
started dating, and
Yeah.
I couldn't use her name on the air because it was still in the days of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Sure.
So she became the drill sergeant on the show. We used to
That's
talk about it all the
hilarious.
time.
I love a character name.
So we dated for about a year. Derek always tells me my timeline is way off, but let's say a year while she was far away and I was here. And then eventually I'm like, why don't you move up here? Leave the military, come up here. You can't live with me because I don't want to be like a stereotypical lesbian.
Right, you got to take
So-
time.
But you should
You
quit
have
your
to-
career for me.
You have to, yes, 10 years, 10 years in the military. I'm like, come on, up here.
Oh my God.
I'm like, and then I made her get her own apartment. And
Wait, is this the part where you're charming her?
I know,
'Cause I'm
horrible.
waiting on that part.
So then I spent all my nights at her apartment and never at my own.
Of course.
And it was really for a year. Like, I'm like, you have to have your own apartment for a year just to make sure that we're in the same city,
Yeah.
that we still like each other.
Right.
It's a
You
smart
know?
move.
Right.
Totally.
So we did. And about 6 months in, I said, we should buy a house.
We
Because,
should try to live together. Let's
now I'm like, I've been dating you for, let's say, a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
And
you no longer have a career or a home.
Yeah.
But now's a good time
but
to
now,
buy
let's buy a
property
house
together.
Let's do that. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, and I think I want to have a baby. And she goes, moving a little fast, are you? And I'm like, well, yeah, maybe. But this is what I want to do. I had a plan. I had a 5-year plan. This was in my 5-year plan.
You're a planner.
All right,
I am.
I
You're-
have a question or
You
two.
and Robin have a lot.
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
common.
Did Iris get a say in your 5-year plan?
No, it was my plan. I just kind of charmed her into it.
Right.
Because this is what I do.
Right. What if she had said she wasn't on board? Would you have lost her?
I would have been like, well, I'm going to have a baby with or without you. So
We've
the
talked to
house
some
that we bought
people who
together.
did that.
yeah, I mean, I was going to be like, I had made a choice. And when I'm the kind of person, when I've made a decision for myself,
done.
that's it. This is what's going to happen.
I admire that because I'm the wishy-washy one.
Did
And
she
nailing
want
her down
kids,
is hard.
or she was just sort of like, I don't
No, she did not want kids. She was like, I don't think I'll be a very good mom. And I'm like, I disagree. But I'm like, no, I think you'll be a great mom. She had a really hard relationship with her own parents. So I think that really had a big impact on her thinking. And I was like, no, this is fine. We're good. We've got this. Let's have a baby. And so then I started doing all the crazy research because I'm a researcher.
Sure.
And I'm like, all right, I got a plan. This is what we're going to do. Let's do it. And she did not want to carry a baby.
No.
because
She didn't. Okay.
No, she's like, it's going to hurt.
She's in the military.
I know. For someone in the military, my wife is the biggest pussy of them all. I'm not even exaggerating. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I'm young-ish. I can do this. So I'm like, I got this.
I'll be the best there ever was at it. That's
And I
what you
told
said.
her, I said, and if we decide to have another one, you're in batter's box.
How old were you?
I was 29 when I
that's
decided
young.
baby's gonna happen. Because my parents were very old when they had me. I'm the youngest of 8 children. They had me in their 40s, like mid 40s. So my dad had already died from old age.
Yeah.
By that point,
Right.
my mom was getting up there, and I was like, I don't want to be an old parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Is Iris your age as well?
she's 5 years older than me.
Okay.
So
Okay,
she was a
so-
few years older.
Yeah.
So I'm like, listen, we got to get moving.
Yeah.
Did you always want to have a kid?
Yeah.
Like,
I-
have you known you were gay your whole life?
I have.
And you always wanted, it was never off the table for you.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because I
Yes.
came from a very large family.
Ah.
And my family, my siblings, while they are all much older than I am, we are very, very close. Like we are a
That's
tight
great.
Oh,
family.
that's nice.
Yeah.
All of
Are
you.
they all, are you from around here?
No, we grew up in Wyoming.
That's amazing. I've never met anybody from Wyoming.
Most people haven't.
I am obsessed with Wyoming right now. It's like in the past 6 months, I've gotten obsessed with Wyoming.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really beautiful parts of Wyoming.
Right.
Most of it sucks.
Right.
But there are a couple of really beautiful places. And I will tell you, you've never seen sky
Oh yeah.
like you see.
This is why I want to go to Wyoming.
So you always wanted to have a baby. because
Always
you
wanted to have a
big
baby
family.
because I had a big family and I wanted to, I wanted to have a baby.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to have a family.
Yeah.
This is part of my plan.
It was just
I got a
always
plan.
there.
This is it.
So you've researched and you're like, how are you getting your donor?
So we decided that we were going to go with an anonymous donor from a sperm bank. We played a lot of scenarios out in our mind. So we originally thought, well, if I'm having a baby, maybe we should ask Iris's brother to be our donor. But then I was like, that's just weird.
Right.
So we're not doing that. So then we looked at, donor situations. Because I didn't want to use any of my friends. I
Tell
like
us.
my friends, but I don't want any of them involved in raising my child.
Right.
Like,
It's muddy.
it's weird and it's awkward. And you know what? Raising a kid is hard enough with 2 people
Right.
who may or may not agree on everything when it comes to child rearing. I do not need to add a third person.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then we thought about, well, okay, do we want to have a donor? We're going to go the sperm bank route. Do we want to have a donor that eventually our child could meet or not meet? And I just thought, no. And I did it for purely selfish reasons. Again, I just didn't want to complicate my life.
Right.
Fucking love that you're
Right.
acknowledging
Like,
that.
you want to keep it as simple as possible.
You
I
wanted
get
your
that.
family to just be you
Yeah.
and your wife
Yeah.
and
Yes.
your kid.
Yeah, period. That's it. I don't need down the road if she wants to go and meet a sibling, she can do the sibling registry thing, blah, 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 whatever, if she wants to, because I have a daughter. But it really, I don't need any of that crap. I just
Right.
don't. I don't
Interesting.
need that extra stress of one day is she going to grow up and think we weren't sufficient and then she's going to want to meet her biological donor, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't
Right.
need that shit. I just
Wow.
don't. And my wife agreed. One of the things we agreed on. And we're like, yeah, we do not need to overcomplicate an already complicated situation.
Right.
I don't think I've ever heard it explained like that. I mean, I
Well,
think that's fascinating.
You know what? When my wife Ann and I were talking about this, we actually chose an anonymous donor the first time, and a lot of our conversation was, we don't want to complicate this. We don't want this to be,
Right.
We want it to be just us. We want to be the parents.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there is that in this. Like, no, this is us and it's selfish.
But also,
And true.
when I think about the types of people who are making these donations, right? So a lot of these
A lot of
guys are
23-year-olds.
like college kids.
They are all
They're getting their money to go party. Let's be honest about why these guys are doing this.
Yeah.
They're not. I
By
mean,
the way, that's best case scenario.
Yeah.
Because you could have some creepy dudes who just want to
Sure.
really procreate their seed and all that.
yeah. Of
Well,
course.
those are the Facebook dudes.
And the thing is here's the reality. I'm thankful that they exist. I'm thankful that they made the donations, or I wouldn't have the family that I do. But I don't know this person. I don't
Right.
know anything about this person. If my child someday wants to meet this person, I don't want them to be disappointed by whoever the hell they're
Right.
going to meet.
Yep.
I get that.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm just not gonna, not going to make this complicated.
Yeah, and we think we all chose like such a thoughtful, wonderful
Oh my God, and it's like,
person,
who knows?
but who the fuck
And it's
knows?
like-
because they're saying whatever they want on these recordings.
Well, and
It's
also
so
like that's
true.
the other thing too is like you comb through like their background and you're like, okay, they don't have alcoholism, but it's like we were gonna switch. Like Mary was gonna carry my egg, and because of some like FDA change,
Right.
I had to do all that like psychological paperwork, and I had to fill all this stuff out. And some of it, I was like, I don't remember or know if my aunt was drunk or not drunk, or like I don't know. And I thought no one's checking my work, and
Right.
that was the first time it occurred to me that the donor that we had picked, I don't know if they're honest or not. And you'll hear the people at the banks will say, well, we've been doing this a long time and we think we're a pretty good judge of character. It's like, are you?
Come
though?
on.
Like some of these
Like,
kids are actors.
You think
like,
the donor's calling mom to say, hey, mom, how did grandma die? Because
No,
I'm
they're not.
donating my sperm right now
Yeah,
and they
they're
want to
not
know.
telling.
But
They're not
also, by
telling
the way, some of
anything.
these guys
It's
are
a
23
guess.
years old. So maybe their dads are like 48. Their history hasn't happened yet.
Right.
I care about what happens to their dad in 15 more years.
Right.
Right.
If he dies at 58
Right.
at a heart attack.
But by the way, if there's anybody out there who knows anybody who ever worked at a sperm bank and would like to dish some details,
Especially an anonymous donor.
Oh my God, that'd
Come
be
at
awesome.
us.
We want your story.
come at us.
I think it doesn't matter whether you're going through a sperm bank or if you're a straight girl having sex with some guy. A lot of people take leaps.
Yes.
And you know what? That's just procreation.
Exactly. And the difference is when you decided to procreate, there was thought put into it. Right? So there's already a difference
I
in
already
the way
have
you
an
made your
advantage.
family. Exactly.
I got to pick and choose some things.
Right.
So are you talking about like the donor and all that stuff with your daughter? How old is she?
She's 11.
Mhm.
It's funny. We are a very open communication family. By we, I mean I am. My wife, she's Hispanic, so it's a little bit harder for her just based on the way she was raised. But I have always been like, whatever you want to know, you come to me, you ask me anything, and I will tell you. I will give you an honest answer no matter what it is. So from a very early age, we talked to Romy about what a donor was. Because, I didn't want her to get to a point where she was asking me, why don't I have a dad or this. So we always just kind of explained it was like baking a cake.
Yeah.
I had an egg. We needed some batter. We mixed it all up in my uterus and that made a baby. And that's how she came about. Because I was like, how do you explain
Right,
what the hell a
right.
donor is? I mean, over the years, we've brought her home books and things like
Yeah.
that have also helped kind of explain some of that. And, she... I have to give Romy credit. She could care the fuck less.
Yeah.
All these years I spent worried about it. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
When people ask her, why don't you have a dad? She goes, because I have two moms.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you had to have a dad. And she's like, no, I had a donor. And she
There was a
doesn't-
cake involved and some batter.
she's
Eggs.
like, come on. It's not, this is how it was done. It's not a big deal. Like, it's so funny to hear how she handles it.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care. And when she was in preschool, she was the only kid with two moms. And she loved it. She thought she was so
Really?
special. And then another little boy came in that had two moms. And she was livid.
Oh,
she
how
was
funny.
so mad. She's like, I cannot believe there's another boy that has two moms. It's not fair. She was mad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
Not a
that. She's
fan.
like, you're stealing my thunder.
Pretty much. Yeah,
I
she
am
was
the different
pissed.
one.
So she never
Yeah.
asked you about a dad, like
Nope.
dad. She never
I'm
called
like,
people dad.
Nope. I'm like, do you want to see a picture of your donor? Because I have like a whole binder for the
Yeah,
day she
of course.
asked.
You
Of
made a
course.
binder.
Of course. I'm
you
like,
did.
I'm ready.
I haven't done that.
She doesn't care. She's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like,
Wow.
okay.
Because my daughter's 5 and she's at the age where she calls everybody dad. She called her uncle this weekend dad over and over just to see what how he would
I wonder
react.
if she's doing it for that reason. You know what I mean? Is she trying to get a rise out of people?
She's confused about dad, and she wants a dad. She says she wants a dad.
Yeah.
So like, there's
Yeah,
a
Romy
whole
never
thing.
wanted a dad.
That's amazing.
But I think part of it too is I've always had really good male figures in Romy's life.
Right.
And we never let anyone call the donor anything other than the donor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so, because like my mom was like, well, what about her father? I'm like, Mom,
Not her father.
no, it was a donor. And honestly, Romy, she loves having two moms. She thinks it's the greatest thing that ever
It
happened.
is.
I mean, she's not wrong.
So I want to know. I would take it back. You decided you wanted to carry.
Yeah. So I'm like, listen, sperm's expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm not wasting sperm trying this crap at home. I don't need romance.
Yes. No turkey. No turkey
like,
baster.
I don't care. We're going to go straight to a reproductive endocrinologist.
Yeah.
We're going to do this wham bam. I want to get this done quick and easy. So I knew the women in my family were very fertile. So I'm like, this shouldn't take long. I went to a reproductive endocrinologist and he actually is like, well, actually, this is going to be harder than you think. And I was like, why? And he goes, well, I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. And so I don't always get regular cycles. And he's like, yeah, this actually could be very hard for you. And I was like, great.
Wait a minute.
This is awesome.
7 siblings.
I'm like, I don't like you. Well, he was wrong because we went in, we did IUI, and we were pregnant within 1 cycle.
Wow.
Yeah. So clearly
You are
I was
fertile.
fertile. I think it was just meant to be. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like because she doesn't even care about the dad. So.
She cares so little. Now I got a question for you guys. Do you guys have straight friends now that you never had before? Because I do.
Oh, because of parenting?
Because of parenting.
Parent
Stacey and Chin
friends.
talked about that.
Yes, she talked about that in our live show. And I am just now, because my daughter's 5, so she's in kindergarten. So this is all new.
Can I give you the best advice?
Yes.
Get to know the other parents. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they're going to become your lifeline in life.
yeah.
Like,
I just used a lifeline yesterday because the baby was sick and I couldn't pick her up.
yeah.
And her friend's parents picked her up and took her to their house.
So what we did, actually, I can't even take credit. So what we did is we were talking to another parent when Romy was still in like preschoolish. And we said, we should get to know all the other parents because all of our kids hang out. They all love each other. They want to have play dates, blah, blah, blah. So we did a girls' night out with just the moms.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the group of moms that we first met, even though our kids now go to separate elementary schools and then
You're
they came back
still
together at middle school,
besties.
we get together all the time. Our kids have maintained relationships for years.
Yep.
They are my tribe. And when it comes to parenting stuff, they're the ones I go to. I'm like, oh my God, is your kid doing this? And you get all the gossip about all the school
yeah, which
problems
I
love.
because you get different kid perspectives.
Mhm.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids are crazy. I mean,
Why did we do this?
I don't
That's the question I have.
know.
Now that I've done it, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Oh, God.
It's like so unfair. Like we want them to, at least I want my kids to be like wildly opinionated. I want them to stand
Yeah,
up for
right.
themselves.
But then I
want
stifle
them
it
to
like
be
hell
strong.
when we're at
Yeah,
home.
but don't
You
do that to
shut
me.
up.
You can do that out there in the world, but when I say
Yeah.
no. Like it's
Yeah.
just like what? How fair is that?
Well, and then they'll throw it in your face.
Yeah.
Like Romy, I will be like, listen, you have to stand up for yourself. Don't let anyone push you around. You make your opinions clear. You don't back down.
Yeah.
And then I'm arguing with her and she's like, Mom, this is my opinion and I'm not backing down. I'm like, oh.
Mm.
This is not the moment where I wanted that to happen.
Yeah. I'm like, but wait, I'm the boss here. No, it's bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're about to head into that time.
Oh, yeah,
that,
no,
like middle
like-
school.
Oh, it's hell.
Well, this is what every parent says.
Yeah.
You think it's hard now.
No, middle
Wait
school,
till they're teenagers.
Middle school is hard. I can already tell you. The biggest surprise of middle school has come in the form of the social pressures to switch from being a little kid to a big
Right.
kid. It was almost instantaneous and really unexpected. And it came in strange forms. So, for instance, it started early on with, I want to wear makeup.
Oh.
And I was like, And I'm like, what's that? I don't even know what
guess
makeup
so.
is. Ugh, gross.
Does your wife wear makeup?
No, neither of us do. We're so butch, and
Yeah.
our daughter is so. She's actually a good mix of butch and femme. She's unique. We got her like a little neutral tones, barely
Yeah.
can see it makeup.
Yeah.
Then it was, Mom, I can't wear any of this clothes from Justice anymore because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
little kid clothes.
Yeah.
I need to shop at Hollister now.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, and now it's like, Mom, I have 3 Hollister shirts. I need more because she's like, I can't wear the same 3 shirts every day.
My kids are in uniforms, and I love
Oh,
the
God,
crap
I'm
out of
so
it. I love-
jealous.
Like they can they can bedazzle the bottom, like it's like mostly just like a polo shirt.
Right.
They're supposed to wear like gray, black, or denim pants, but they seem to like my daughter's wearing a lot of leopard print, and it seems to be fine. Like no one sends her home, but I'm so thankful for that
Yeah.
because I don't want to get into justice and all that.
Because let me
crap.
tell you, it's a nightmare.
Oh.
But it's going to come in the form, for you, it's going to come in the form of makeup. I'm telling you right now. Makeup's
Oh yeah,
gonna
no,
be
she's
big.
already. She's
Oh,
like
Maxine
wanted
is going to be
lip
all
gloss.
up in the makeup.
Oh no, I have to show you. I was showing
She's
Jamie
so
my,
girly.
my phone. She
Her
takes my
daughter's
phone and does
crazy
these
girly.
filters,
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
already doing these pouty duck lippy
Oh,
things.
God,
like,
yes.
with like French berets and just like.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
like, well, how? I'm like, how
And
does
then
she-
she'll do like the TikTok.
and she started hashtagging the photos.
Oh,
like
no.
NYC kid
Yeah.
and like city living. I'm like,
Mhm.
what are you? What?
Yeah, that's how it rolls.
But where is that even? Like, I'm like, where are you getting?
Does she even
that
have a cell
from?
phone yet? Because that's the other big thing.
Well, like sort of, but not
oh,
really. Like,
yeah,
she has
cell
one that
phones are the devil. I
isn't
mean, they're
turned
good, but
Does
they're
she have
bad.
one?
Like Romy has very strict screen times set.
Yeah.
Like it goes off at a certain time. She's not allowed to use it past that. Thank God for screen time. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Apple.
Thank you for those. Also those.
I don't
protection
know
things you
anything
can-
about
Oh my God, I
this.
use those
You
in
have
my
time,
house
you
too.
have time.
Yeah, you're gonna want all of that stuff.
Well,
but
we just told my daughter that YouTube went out of business. So that YouTube has been out of our house since New Year's Day.
really, because I love YouTube, and the reason I love it is because I can actually watch my
Well,
TV because my kid has
we
no
watch-
interest in our TV.
We watch YouTube.
They
But
were watching.
we deleted
My kids were
YouTube
starting to get like a little
for her.
aggro because of the YouTube. Like, Henry was just
Yes.
watching Minecraft videos, and they were all. And he started talking to me like, whatever, brah. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry. I was
Rose
like,
too.
yeah, I
my
was like,
daughter,
nope.
same thing.
And
Was like,
we
talk,
said,
like
you can't have it.
she, my daughter put her hand up and turned her face away, like talk to the hand. Mom,
No.
she's 5. I said, where did you learn that?
No.
Online.
YouTube is gone.
Bye.
Gone.
But kids don't watch TV anymore. They
No, I
watch
know.
things online. Like this is how kids.
We took
I'll
cable
tell
away,
you.
and I thought it was going to be this big disruption in the house.
They don't
didn't
care.
even
Care
notice.
less.
They don't
didn't
care.
notice.
Take the internet away and the whole world
Yeah.
would end.
Well, it's my daughter is only 5, and I've noticed a huge difference in her since we got rid of YouTube. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely. There was a
Now
big
she's coming
behavioral
home and
change.
she's like, Layla says she still has YouTube at her house. I don't know
Like, it
how.
must be old episode.
Yeah, you're in trouble because that is a lie that you
I
cannot
know.
sustain.
You're not supposed to lie to them either, so we're fucked.
Oh,
Well,
come on.
come on,
there's
I
lies.
don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, no.
So it's all gonna come out, but by then hopefully she'll be broken from YouTube, and we can like start fresh with like, I don't know, screen time like you guys talk about.
All right, I have more questions for you guys. What will you do if your kid comes out?
As gay?
Yeah, gay or
Um,
bi or trans.
I will be totally supportive and happy.
Okay.
I would.
I would obviously be very supportive because, I'm their parent. I love them, but I would not be thrilled. And we've talked about this.
I feel relieved hearing another parent
Yeah.
say
Oh,
that.
I know.
But it's
No,
because
she's-
but it's because of like I would be afraid everyone would think that my example caused this.
I get that.
Now
I get that.
here's why I asked because my daughter at 11 has come out as bi.
Oh, okay. So now,
Yeah.
so you're somebody who has kind of much more to say about this than we do.
Well, because I never wanted a gay kid. I could have told you that all from the very beginning. Like, I hope my kid is not gay, and not because not because I think there's anything wrong with being gay. Because I think
Obviously
being
not.
gay is great.
Yeah, we're all
Obviously.
super gay in this room.
But
okay, wait. Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Did you, when you were having a baby, were you worried that because of your gay genetics, you were going to create a gay child?
no, I mean no,
Because
and I have
I
a
know
lot of gay in
people
my
who-
genetics because like I'm the youngest of 8 children. 4 of us are gay.
I wanted to
gonna
ask you that
earlier. I did
Yeah.
too. I see. I was never
Wow,
worried
half.
about that.
Yeah,
Half
so,
of you.
That's a pretty good ratio.
I mean, the chances of her being gay were probably pretty high. Just
I mean,
based
I
on
don't even know
genetics.
if I don't know if it's a genetic thing, but people,
I
a
totally
lot of
think it is.
people
I
think
think
it's
it
a
is.
genetic thing.
I think without question, it's a genetic
I think
thing.
so.
Yeah. But I did not want a gay kid for a few reasons. One, I came out in high school in Wyoming, and that was hard.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And in college, one of my best friends was killed for being gay.
Oh
So
my
that was,
God.
you know this story. Matthew
Oh.
Shepard from Wyoming.
Oh
was
my
one of your
god!
friends?
He was a good friend of mine.
Oh my
So,
god!
You know, there's that.
And that was
then-
not just like killed, but a horrific.
horrific
Oh
hate
my
crime.
Horrific story.
god!
And then the other reason I didn't want my kid to be gay, and this, again, I'm a very selfish person, you're going to notice from this interview, but I did not want my child to get away with what I did. Because my parents, even though they
Sleepovers? Is
had,
that what you mean?
oh God, yes, my parents,
whore.
Oh
I
my
love it.
God.
my parents, while they had many gay children, they liked to live in a land of denial.
Uh-huh.
And I fucked my way through high school.
Oh no!
Right.
I mean,
Girl.
I had a great girlfriend at the time, so it was really only one person, but we fucked all the time.
That's
Really?
amazing.
Oh,
They were like,
I'm
oh, that girl wants to
jealous.
I would say
sleep over a lot.
I would say she slept over at my house for at least 2 or 3 nights a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Starting
all
at what
throughout-
age?
Junior in high school.
I had a girl.
So, I'm
Yeah.
like, and my daughter is me. She's a mini me.
She's
So
a
I'm
mini.
like,
But I
I
mean,
don't want her to be gay
let's
because
be
she's gonna
honest.
she's
If
gonna be ornery.
A
Yeah, but
junior
you're
in
going to
high
be
school-
open with her, and
I mean, you're a junior in high school and have that kind of a relationship. You're having sex. It's just you were able to do it in a safe way because you could just have sleepovers versus in the
Sure.
back of a car. It's
Yeah.
happening.
I
at
mean,
that
listen,
age.
I was having sex in cars too, but yeah.
who wasn't? I'm just kidding. I mean,
wasn't.
I don't know.
But
I
I
was
mean,
really
I
lonely.
think if you're a teenager and you want to have
No.
sex, you got to get
No, I
real
wasn't.
creative. It can't just
Yeah.
be that easy. Like it was too easy.
Oh.
It was,
But more power to you for
I know.
knowing
yeah.
and knowing who you are attracted to and like going for it, because I didn't know at that age. I was like, doing all kinds of different. I mean, my mother listens to this, so I'm going to stop talking.
She was raving, Mom. All right, wait. So listen, I'm back to your 11-year-old. So she's a girlfriend, or what? Is she just like recognize she has crushes?
No. So she had a boyfriend for the longest time. It was like a cute little like friend boyfriend.
Mhm.
Sure.
And then she broke up with him to become a single Pringle, as she put it.
She said that.
And then a week later, she was taking bacon because she had herself a girlfriend. Now,
Really?
here, and when all this is happening on my radio show, on Derek and Romaine, I'm talking about how I'm losing my shit over the fact that my kid's gay. And all of our gay listeners are like, you're the worst. Like, how can you be? Like, you're a hypocrite. I'm like, no. I'm terrified because I know what comes next.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to have a sleepover
Some
with her
experimentation.
girlfriend. Shit's going to go down. And my wife is like, Romaine, you're being dramatic. This is never going to happen. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago.
What?
2 weeks ago, my daughter and her friends hatched a plan to have a sleepover at one of their friends' house.
Now, do you know who the girlfriend is?
Yes.
Okay.
And her name is Emily. So they hatched this plan to have this sleepover, and then they're going to convince one of the parents to host it. Like they had hatched the whole plan themselves in middle school. And then they're like, okay, now we're going to find an unsuspecting parent. They're going to make them host this sleepover. So they did. They got one of the like single dads. So all these girls are planning to go to their house. And I should have known better because I wasn't thinking, but I didn't think to ask all the
Who's
names of
going?
the girls
Right.
that were going. I knew it was a group of her friends from school, but I didn't think about it. So then on the way there, I'm like, hey, who else going to be at this thing? And she starts listing off all these names. And then Emily's name is just kind of slyly slid in. And I was like, as in your girlfriend? And she's like, yeah, but it's no big deal, Mom. I'm like, okay. And I shoot this look over at my wife. I'm like, told you so. I knew this was going to happen. I knew. And so my wife is like, Romaine, they're too young.
I know.
Stop
What are they
being
going to do at 11?
dramatic. I'm like, who the hell knows?
11.
Oh,
Yeah. See,
things can
thank you,
happen at
Jamie.
11.
So then
having a
the
baby.
next morning, I pick her up and I'm like, so where did everyone sleep last night? She's like, oh, well, 2 people slept on the bed, 2 people slept on this bed, and then 2 people slept on the floor. And I'm like, and where did your girlfriend sleep? Oh, she slept in the bed with me. I'm like, nope, that's it. No more sleepovers. I'm done.
Oh.
Done. Because this is my worst nightmare coming to life. I'm like, Iris.
Because
hello?
she's you.
Because she's me. And I'm sure nothing happened because they're 11. But I'm not. I'm like, no.
I mean,
this
things
is not
can
going to fly.
happen.
But here's the thing. This it sets a precedent, and the thing is you wouldn't let them have
Nope.
sleepover if it was a boy and a
Nope.
girl, and they were like, you just wouldn't. So
Nope.
it's like I do think you have to kind of be like,
Nope,
you're
there's
in a
a boundary.
relationship.
This-
That
you
means
can't
you're
cross
not.
it.
Yeah.
But isn't it great that your daughter...
Where are you going with this?
No, isn't it great that your daughter is emulating you and your wife's relationship in some way? Like, doesn't that feel good that she's like fluid and like it is what it is, and I like a girl?
It's a problem.
Is your issue only that it's like you know what she's going to do?
It's because she's a
Yes.
mini you.
Yes. I mean, granted, I'm relieved that she's not going to get knocked up in high school like all my sisters did.
Well, you
but-
never know.
she's
She might go
bi.
back to boys.
Oh, God.
She didn't
I
say she
hope
was gay.
not.
She said she was bi.
She
I
might
know,
be
but I
very
think it's a stepping
fluid.
stone. I think she's doing the bi stepping stone because,
Right.
like,
But that's
You'll just
awesome.
watch. You'll just watch and see.
it
And
makes me
support.
so nervous.
It's safer. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it does feel safer in a lot of ways.
I mean, listen, there are some real bonuses to her being lesbian versus
Oh
being
God, teen
straight.
pregnancy is like one of my biggest
Oh, God.
fears.
Are you
Oh,
kidding?
One of my
It's
biggest
scary.
fears. 'Cause
I
feel
come from
you're
fertile people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
your life
Oh.
is ruined. Like
Right.
everything changes.
Yeah.
Right. My cousin's parents did a lot of drugs in the 60s and 70s, right? And they were always open with her about drug use and like,
Right.
okay, if you're going to do it, let us know, blah, blah, blah. And they kept the conversation going. And yes, she did
I was
it.
gonna say, how'd that shake out?
And she called them whenever she was in trouble, and it
Right.
worked out really well for her.
Well, we-
so, like,
we
you
do a
know,
lot of that
you're
kind of open
open like
discussion.
that, and she feels confident enough to be like, actually, I'm with a girl now, you know, and that's big.
Well, I've had some fun parenting adventures with Romy. The first really crazy one was when her and her boyfriend, when they were like 6 or 7, essentially they were playing doctor, but they created video of it.
Oh.
Oh yeah, they videotaped themselves playing doctor.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh dear God. And I found it And I was like, ha ha ha.
On your phone, probably?
He was on an iPad. I was like, holy shit. Our kids have created porn.
Not just porn, but child porn.
Kitty porn.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I called my friend. I'm like, you're going to have a talk with your son. But like
Did you have any guilt over that? Because this is where my shit would come in, where I'd be like, oh my God, because we're two moms, they're going to think that we have a perverted daughter. And oh
this
God.
is where getting
That's
to
what I was
know,
saying.
This is where getting to know the other parents is awesome. Because I'm like, our kids at one of our parties were upstairs playing doctor and they made a video and she's like, oh my God, thank God it was you. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God it was you.
Yeah.
Because I knew them well enough to know that they would not lose their shit.
Right.
Because if they were like friends that would, I would have not told them. I would have been like, I'm going to punish my own kid, but I'm not telling you Jack.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they created a video and I actually took it as an opportunity to sit Romy down and have a long conversation about the video and what they were doing. And then I said, what questions do you have about this experience? And I said, do you have any questions about your friend? And she goes, yeah, where does the pee come out of? And I'm like, great question. Let me answer that. And so, like we've always like, these are just the conversations
That's
we
a good
have.
one. I like that one.
And when it comes to like sex and our bodies, like we've always been like, I believe that a young woman should have a lot of confidence in her body and feel good about her body. And so I have always really talked very openly and honestly about body stuff and sex stuff. Like Romy knows more about sex than probably any 11-year-old should.
Yeah.
But she knows, like we watched a movie the other day together, 8th grade, which was awesome, by the way.
I hear it's really good.
It really does demonstrate what it's like to raise a kid in 8th grade and kind of some of the social pressures they're under. But one of the scenes in the movie is this girl is asked if she gives blowjobs by this kid she has a crush on. And she said yes, because she didn't know what it was. And then she went home and researched it and was grossed out. And so then I said to Romy, I'm like, got any questions? And she's like, yeah, what's a blowjob? And I'm like, well, here it is. And I just spelled it out. And she's like, that's disgusting. And I said, yes. And when you have oral sex as a woman with someone goes down on you, then they're doing this. And she's like, oh my God, you and mom do that? And I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that response, but yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like we just talk about this
Jamie and I are
stuff.
like, oh.
Listen, I always
But
thought
you have to.
No,
you
you
have
have
to
to. You
nowadays.
do.
I always thought I would be like Earth Mother, talk about all this stuff. I'm San Francisco, California girl. And I just had to explain to Rose that babies come out of vaginas. And I was so uncomfortable for this whole conversation. I don't know why this is so hard, all this stuff about vaginas and penises with your children.
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be at
shouldn't be,
all.
yeah.
But I was uncomfortable. Like, why am I uncomfortable talking to my daughter about a vagina and a baby coming out of it?
I have to say, like, I thought it was going to be really uncomfortable, and I'm actually handling it pretty well. Like, we had the book, and we read the whole book together, and I had both kids, and it was like, we started off with parts, and like the whole time, like I kept reading it. Maxine just kept going, oh my God, I'm freaking out. And then Henry kept like stopping me and raising his hand. He'd be like, mom. And I was like, yes, Henry. And he was like, so the eruption, I said, erection. He goes, yeah. I get those.
No.
I get them. Sometimes I get them in the bathtub.
God.
Sometimes
Nice.
I get them.
That's a great.
And then he goes,
awesome.
It's
and then he
awesome.
goes-
It's
He goes,
awesome.
you've seen them. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to keep going now. And the whole time
See,
she's going,
that's
"Oh my God,
uncomfortable. Don't
I'm
tell me
freaking
you
out."
weren't a little bit
I
uncomfortable.
know, I was laughing and I wish I was recording it. And then there was another thing he said too, or something about, he goes, mom. And I was like, yes, Henry. Because he just like kept interrupting. He was like, the part where you put the penis in the vagina, he goes, if it's okay, I don't actually want to do that.
Oh.
And I was like, I said, that's okay.
That's
you don't have
fine.
to do it. And he goes, okay, good. And then Maxine goes, I'm going to adopt because I'm freaking out. It was just the whole thing was like hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah, no,
love
my
it.
5-year-old was just like, so it's like a poop. It's like a poop.
You're like,
They
"Yeah,
just poop
sort of."
them. Okay, we'll go with that.
Kind of.
Yeah, poop from your vagina.
I always say to my friends, straight or gay doesn't matter when they're talking about sex with their kids. I'm like, would you let your kid drive your car without teaching them how to drive?
Right.
Yeah.
And they're all
Totally.
like, no, of course not. I'm like, so why would you let your kid go into their
Come
sexual
up with
experience without ever teaching them about their bodies or about sex? Like you can't expect these kids to just know.
Yeah. Or they're going to do stuff that they shouldn't or
Right.
don't want to do.
Or they're going to learn
Right.
from their friends who are
Who don't know
misguided.
shit.
Yeah.
Unless they're Romy, and then she knows a lot.
I've been like worried lately, and with something weird starting to talk about. I feel like again, I've been referring a lot to Stacey and Shin, but I've been watching her feed, and she keeps like her daughter keeps talking about it's my body, and I think that's because of Stacey and Shin's what happened to her. You know, she had been sexually assaulted, and so she's like teaching her. And I thought, God, like my daughter's just this loving, open person, and we're not really talking about that. Like we read some books
we
about
do.
like
Right.
we did some like you have to watch for people, whatever. But I'm like, how? So we've been trying to start that conversation of it's your body, and you don't have to do things you don't want to do, and it's really difficult because she's a very trusting and just delightful little soul who's like, why would someone want to do something like that? And she was going to a sleepover, and we didn't know the parents, and we were like, okay, so we had to be like, you never go into a room without with a parent alone, and she was just like, well, why would that happen? And we were like, because sometimes some people are, and you don't know,
Right.
And it's like, but I find those conversations much harder than the conversations about
is
sex
hard.
because it's like
It's all hard.
I don't want to scare them,
Right.
but I want to inform them so that I don't want a girl or a boy who's doing something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like that's, and I don't quite know. What,
I mean, we always just teach Romy that her body is her own. She has to respect her body, and that she ultimately is in control of her body, and that she holds all the power because
that's
it's
a good
hers.
way to put it.
It's like, you can give it away, and you could give your body to somebody else, but you have to be sure that's what you want to do. It's your power to give or to take away.
Like
And,
no one can make you.
Yeah, no one can. And if they do, then then they have crossed the line, and then, there are things you can do about that. But we really try to empower her, and like she definitely, now that she knows she has the power, she's not afraid to use it. Like if you go and mess up her hair, she's like, don't touch my body. It's like, okay,
love that.
well, all right. I guess I can't touch your body because you don't want your hair messed.
Yeah, well, that happened with my 5-year-old too, because we were on this. We had books, and we were doing this whole my body thing, and then the whole hair thing. And she's 5. We have to do her fucking hair.
Yeah.
So then
And she has a lot of
it's
hair.
like, yeah, she's got a lot of hair, and it gets to be a big fat mess. So
Let her cut it all off like my daughter
well,
did.
that's what I say.
Greatest
Then
thing
we're
that
gonna
ever happened.
we're gonna cut it off, and then a tantrum ensues. So so we had to like scale it back a little bit because she's using it against us. It's my body. It's my body. I do what I want. you know?
What we do with Romy is every summer we let her she chooses her haircut. She could do whatever she wants. If she's had a good school year, she could do whatever she wants. So this year she cut it all off, like
Wow.
short, buzzed on the side, like it's like.
And you were
oh,
like, all
Lord.
right then.
And I'm like, all right, this is what you want. It's your hair. It's
Yeah.
This is your haircut. You do. And when she wants to grow it out, we let her grow it out.
Yeah.
Like she's allowed. We give her a lot of control
Yeah.
over things
Yeah.
that are related to her body because she's got to learn. It's mine.
Yeah.
All right, I have more questions for you guys.
Okay.
Do we have time? Can I keep
have
asking
time.
you guys
Let's
questions?
Let's do it. Let's
One
do
more
it.
question.
Okay,
and then
here's my next question. How much did you hate being pregnant?
Hated it.
Oh my God, you are my people.
Yeah.
I hated it. I used to refer to
Yes.
my baby as a parasite because
Yeah.
it sucked all the good things out of me, and my wife would get so mad at me.
Right.
And how mad did the rest of the world get at you? Because you're supposed to be acting
You're
like
supposed
Yes, and I
to
was like,
love
no,
this.
I was miserable. I hated every aspect of being pregnant.
I didn't love it.
And I
Here's
did
the
not
thing.
love my baby when she first came out. I'm going to be the first to admit it. Not many
No, that
people will.
happens.
No,
I was
I
like,
had a hard time with my wife had our daughter, and that was a relationship that grew for me. So I feel you
That's a
there.
nice way
I
to
get
say
it.
it.
I get it.
yeah, well, I didn't even like her. I was so angry with
I
her
was
for making
afraid
me
of
feel
her.
so horrible. I was just like, I don't like you. It took
That's
me like a
postpartum,
solid.
Romaine.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't take long, but it took me like a solid 4 days to like her as a
Yeah.
person. I'm like, okay, I'm done being mad at you, but
Right.
you really fucking made my life suck for 9 months.
Pregnancy was hard.
I hated
Pregnancy
it. I
was tough.
really thought I was
But-
going to be like rubbing my belly.
No, me
and
too.
looking off into space.
Once
and I was
again,
not.
Earth Mama. I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna be all kinds of pregnant love, and I hated it.
Hated it.
I hated it. It was
All of
very
And my
hard.
wife was the worst. Like she would drink beer in front of me when all I wanted was a fucking beer, and she wouldn't even let me have a sip. And I'm like, I hate
She
you.
didn't let you have a
Oh no, she was
sip?
the worst. And I was an unbearable pregnant person because I couldn't be unbearable at work because I always have to get along with my co-host because we host a show together. So I always had to be nice to him.
We don't always
So
get
I would,
along.
I would save all my anger and
Atta girl,
rage
Jamie.
for home. And during like the last 3 weeks of my pregnancy, my mom showed up, and both my wife and this guy who was living with us at the time were so relieved to see my mom because they're like, "You're the only one that can make her less crazy." It was true because I was so mean. I was like, I hate everyone and everything. I was an angry
Because you were
pregnant lady.
uncomfortable.
I hate it, and I was huge. My baby came out at almost 11 pounds.
Oh my God.
She was a giant.
My daughter was 8'11". I didn't give birth to her.
I did not have that. My kids were like
But
6 pounds.
11 pounds.
Yeah, she was.
Your baby was double mine.
She had to be born via C-section because
Mine
she was so
too.
gigantic
Oh
she
my
could
God.
never really fall into position.
Yeah.
Because they tried. Oh Lord knows they tried, but it was not happening.
No.
And then they took her out, and as soon as they got me open, they're like, "Oh, I see what the problem is. She's a giant. She weighed more than a set of twins combined that were born
Right.
on the same day."
Oh my God.
And she was like, I never had like that cute, like sweet little baby experience. Like
right.
You had
I
a
gave birth to a
3-month-old.
toddler.
Listen, our daughter was big too. Not as big as that, but I agree with you with that. We didn't get that sweet little newborn
there was
time.
no
And
newborn.
I'm a small person to
You
start
are.
with.
Yeah.
So this baby was toddler size. I could never even wear the Bjorn with her because she was already
Yeah.
too big.
Romy was
I didn't have that. I had
huge.
the regular size little
My
Gerber baby that
son
came out quick
is
and-
normal baby size,
Yeah.
especially for me and my body. So it's like fitting. But
Yeah.
my daughter was way too big for me. I didn't know what to do.
I loved it though
tough.
because she slept through the night almost from the get go.
Oh, so don't talk to me.
Yeah, that
Don't
part
talk
was
to me.
nice. I will say I hated it at first, but then it grew on me real fast. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this isn't so bad.
The first night we brought her home, she screamed the entire night.
Oh.
That was a rude
You must have been
awakening.
like, I'm taking this baby back.
We called the hospital in the middle of the night when we were all in the bathroom with the hairdryer and the faucet going, and our dog was howling because she didn't know what the
Oh my
fuck
God,
was
your
going on.
neighbors must have just
Our
been like-
daughter was screaming. So I didn't know a baby could scream as loud as she was, and she did it literally nobody slept. The first night we brought her, we called the hospital. Something's wrong with her. And they were like, she's just a baby. Yeah.
That's not good. That sucks.
That sounds awful.
So don't talk to me about your child sleeping through the night.
The only thing I hated about Romy when she was a baby is she had the most shrill, high pitched cry.
God, doesn't that like just to this day when I hear a baby cry, it's like sends shivers
Oh yeah,
down
I
my-
hate it. I'm like,
It's like
It's hard.
PTSD.
It's so
Yeah.
hard. Ugh.
Oh, I'm so happy
have
to be. I
PTSD.
liked having a baby, but I'm super happy to be not in that stage anymore.
I have a baby.
Like, I like having
I'm
little-
I would
happy
like
for you.
another baby, but then I think about it and I'm like, would I really?
Yeah, so
They're
you didn't want to
sweet.
have another one. You just want
We
to have
did. We did want to have
Oh, so
another
wait,
one.
we didn't talk about this.
We actually started the process of having another one.
Oh.
And it turned out that I was going to end up carrying again, even though I
Really?
was
Why?
not happy about it. Because my wife is a pussy and it's like, it's going to hurt. And you made pregnancy look so horrible. I don't want to have any part of it. I'm like, whatever, fuck you. So we did start to go through the process of having another one. And then we were 2 cycles in and my mom died.
Oh,
And my
I'm
mom
sorry.
had been a huge part of our life up until that point, especially with Romy, because like Romy was like 2.5, 3. And I lost all, I was like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped cold turkey. I was like, nope, no, the timing's not
done.
right. It's not going to happen.
And then you were
Oh.
just like, this is fine.
And then we just never got back on the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's once
It
like
takes
it
a
takes so
lot.
much to like prep for it and everything. And I was like, I don't have
And
it.
then
in
once
me.
you get to a certain point, you're going back.
Yeah.
Like, our kids are 2 years apart, and like Jamie's going back to certain things. And I'm always like, God, how do you go back? Like,
Yeah,
how do you
our-
go
my-
back to
my
diapers?
kids
How
are
do you go
4
back to
years
bottles?
apart.
How do you
Yeah.
go back?
Yeah.
That was my wife's always her thing. She's like, I don't want to carry around diaper bags anymore. Like,
We don't carry a diaper bag. We don't pack a diaper bag. Many times I show up places and say, ooh, shit, I don't have a diaper. Do you guys
Yeah.
have a diaper?
And they're
How
like,
do you
I-
survive?
They're like, we don't have children. No.
I don't have, we are really dropping the ball with this whole having a baby thing. Like, we don't
That's
have a diaper bag.
crazy.
I pack things in my purse as I leave the house. So whatever I remember.
You must have a giant purse.
No, and I don't even have a purse. I don't carry a purse. So I remember
Well, you
to
don't
bring
have a baby with you.
Well,
so.
actually it's usually a backpack.
this is like a second child thing, though, right? When you
Yes.
just stop caring. And It's like
Yeah.
the first one, you get all the pictures taken, you do all that stuff right,
Yeah.
and then the second one, you're like,
I think that's an age thing because ours were close, so it was like you were still in diapers.
You were still having it
you
all.
still
Right.
had all that, and I hadn't been out of a diaper
No.
bag so long. It wasn't that you
But
know.
and also,
but
Anne is like anti-diaper bag. She hates them all.
I don't
so
love a diaper
none of
bag.
them ever worked for
they really
us.
don't work right.
For him, we asked for like this backpack diaper bag so it could be less like
Right.
ugly and weird.
Mm.
But even that didn't work for Anne and me, I will say. So
Yeah.
we just don't use a bag. We just pack what we need as we go. Sometimes we remember a toy for him. Sometimes we don't.
So I feel like the second one for me is like a lot more about like I have the expectations of him that are the same as his sister, and that's like not.
Oh
at all
yeah,
fair.
no, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
and it's like, and also like just kind of like rules get lax. You're just like, it's fine. I know we were able to stop that until she was 5, but for you, it's like you're all right now. It's like, you got a sense of it. Don't like.
Oh, my mom says
Yeah.
this. My mom says you guys were crazy about her touching your radiator. You guys were like crazy diligent about keeping her away from the radiator, which I never understood. And your son is all over that damn radiator.
You're just
and I was like,
it's fine
really?
now. Yeah. So you're like, it's fine.
He goes and touches. I go, hot.
You know, and then like he probably won't do that again.
No, he goes, hi. I told you,
That's funny.
Yeah. No, it is.
All right. So here are the things that are going to happen.
Okay.
1, we're going to be at your house for a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2, I think we're going to need to go to the Derek and Romaine cruise. I think we're going to need to do that.
Yeah. We're going to do
I'm
that.
telling you 100% certainty you need to do it.
I know.
Yeah.
And folks, the Derek and Romaine show is their show, and so you need to go to their website.
Yes.
Yep,
And,
DerekandRomaine.com.
Yeah, Derek and Romaine, and you need to like get go to their cruise and like subscribe to.
Also, we haven't
the show.
mentioned. Well, we've mentioned Derek a lot, and
Yeah.
I already felt bad that he wasn't invited to this, but he's not a gay mom, so
He's
like
not.
or a gay dad.
Not that either.
So tell him if he wants to come on our podcast, he has to have a kid.
Well, thank
but
you for
okay,
coming.
yeah.
This
of
was,
course,
like,
I'm happy to be
fantastic.
here. Thanks for
Yes.
inviting
This
me.
has been
God.
good. This has been. We could talk for hours because
Yeah.
this is what you do, and
This
this
is
is
what I
kind
do.
of what we do. So
Yeah.
this is a problem.
It's kind
Yeah.
of what we do, and also game on. We're gonna win.
No.
Yeah.
Woo!
Ooh, she's something else.
It's a powerhouse.
She is. She's fun.
I mean, listen, Derek and Romaine, put us back in your
We
show.
need to come back.
I know, we had a
Derek,
blast.
we had something here.
I
We
feel
had
like we've
something.
got some kind of a rapport.
Romaine, bring us back.
Do you think it's one-sided, like that we just are we love them and they're like we beat you?
Yeah.
Probably.
Well.
Okay.
Anyway.
Listen, we're
anyway.
used to it at this point in our lives.
Let's get happy again.
Let's speaking of happy, Tiffany and Carissa.
Tiff and Chris.
Is it time to play your little jingle?
The little jingo, jango.
Little jingo had my baby. Jingo ate
Yeah,
my baby.
with the piano stylings of Seiko Akita underneath
Yes.
me. I have to say again.
Hit it.
Tiff and Carissa are having a baby.
So after looking through a lot of possibilities in a couple of cryobanks,
In particular, Carissa looking at a bunch of possibilities,
poring over
bunch of cryobanks.
bios and etc. We found one, and there are a lot of reasons, big and small, that we went with this particular donor. We ended up going with someone who
Is mixed race.
is mixed race.
Yeah.
After our list ended up including white donors, black donors, Latinx donors, and we realized
Black and Latinx donors.
combos thereof.
Yes. Ew.
And we realized
Quite partial.
by the time
That
we
one
found
person.
him, by the time we found this particular donor, we realized that that wasn't a huge reason.
Yeah, we
as to
ended
why
up
we picked him.
It ended up not like the donor that we did pick. We ended up picking them based up on their like value system. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
the things that this person wrote about as like not only what they did for a living, but also some of their values. I think for me personally, what really stuck out was their values around work and life. They very intentionally were like working a position and had a career in something that was very much a passion. But I think the other thing I just appreciated, which is something we both really appreciated, was what this person said about, hey, if you want to reach out to me when you get older, like he specifically was speaking to
He addressed it to
donor
future
conceived
children.
kids, from his samples, like literally said, hey, if you want to reach out, be it because you're curious or for a bevy of other reasons he listed, but he specifically spoke to because you're curious about your ancestry, which is something that I think both Krista and I do a lot of work around, just kind of taking a look at what happened to the people and with the people who made the people who made us, That's important. And ancestry is something that it plays a big role in our lives in ways that sometimes we don't even think about. And so it's nice to know that somebody is being intentional in that way.
Yeah.
Because ancestry is it means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. And I am sure that we'll raise our kids with it'll mean a lot to them too, I'm
Absolutely.
sure. So
this will help because this person's feelings on that are evident and line up with ours.
Yeah, for sure.
And using that information to inform your life and to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So I did not see that coming.
No, especially because we talked so much about
ethnicity and how they were going to land.
But it makes sense.
Yeah. It's fascinating that they ended up just choosing based on the person. Like that seemed, it really falls in line with the interview with them.
And once again, it's the search for Superman and then what really matters about all of this.
And if you haven't listened to the Tiffany and Carissa, it's episode 2 of the season. Go back and listen because they're going to be with us all season. Mm-hmm. Their journey. Until they have a baby, we're going to be hounding them for clips.
I know. And then maybe we just keep going.
Yeah. And it'll be like
if these ovaries could talk reality show.
Oh, guys. Well, listen, before we leave you, we do want to talk about a podcast that we just found that we're really loving.
It's called Strong Feelings.
We have strong feelings, Jamie, don't we?
We have really strong feelings.
About everything.
And everybody knows.
Well, this is 2 best friends and business partners, Sarah and Cattell. And they got this weekly show where they're talking about feminism
and bullshit in the workplace.
All kinds of bullshit.
All kinds of stuff. So, check it out.
And their tagline is because life's too short to bottle things up. That's a good tagline.
Well, I think that's kind of us too. We don't why bottle it up?
Very samesies. Let's listen to the
same.
A trailer from their podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have strong feelings? I sure do. My name is Sarah Wachter-Betcher, and I'm here with my best friend, Cattell Adu.
Hey, y'all.
We're the hosts of Strong Feelings, a podcast about work, feminism, and friendship.
Every week, we talk about the stuff that really matters, like unfucking your work life or taking better care of your brain and body than just swigging wine and smearing on another face mask.
Wait, I can still do that sometimes though, right?
Totally, but you have to invite me.
Okay, deal. We will also be talking about all the ways we're confronting our own bullshit, like how we're unlearning body shame or breaking out of the comfort of white feminism.
And you'll hear intimate conversations with authors, artists, activists, and entrepreneurs. We'll ask them why they do what they do and what happens when it gets hard.
So check out Strong Feelings, your weekly dose of fun feminist real talk with the best friends you didn't know you were missing. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts or check us out at strongfeelings.co because life's too short to bottle things up.
Great. Well, you're going to want to check that out.
Strong feelings, guys.
I have them. So do you.
Now you just need to listen to them. All right. Listen, if you want to follow us on the social media, how do they do that, Jamie?
Well, Robin, they should hit us up on the Twitter at Ovaries Talk.
Sure.
Facebook, if these ovaries could talk.
Sure.
Instagram, ovaries_talk. Mm-hmm. And you can always just hit us up at our email, ovariestalk@gmail.com.
And while you're doing it, send us an email to ask questions about if you've noticed I zoned out while Jamie was giving that information.
You can't zone out because I might screw it up.
I just wandered off. I hope you did it right.
I'm sure I did.
Don't forget to rate and review us, folks. We love that.
A positive one.
So, thank you.
Okay.
Eggs.
Ovaries.
Ow. What?
If these ovaries could talk, they would say, eggs, ovaries out.